I'll call it sleek, I'll call it stylish, but one thing I will not call the Mercedes CLS is a coupe. It's got 4 doors, that makes it a sedan. There's no such thing as a 4-door coupe. I don't care what those savages over in marketing try to tell you. But one thing that we will agree on is that this is a fantastic ride, made all the better by the first application of Mercedes-Benz's 48-volt mild hybrid system. So grab shotgun with me and we'll see how good it is. Now the CLS sort of slots in between the E-Class and the larger S-Class, and what it brings to the table that the E doesn't is a healthy dose of style. And that starts up front with a new, really aggressive front end design with these triangular headlights that are going to be Mercedes' design language going forward. I think they're a huge improvement over the sort of blob-shaped lights that you get on things like the C-Class and the current S-Class. And out back is probably not my favorite part of this car. It's simple, but perhaps a little bit too simple and a little droopy at that. Plus there's this weird sort of pod area around the license plate frame that just sort of seems tacked on and out of place on the rest of this car. And of course, we've already talked about that sort of 4-door coupe profile, which looks really good on this car no matter what you call it. It's a little bit slab-sided, but when you've got a profile that's that nice looking, it sort of makes this car look purposeful and not over-designed. I dig it. Now you might think that that steeply raked roof cuts into the headroom of the second row, which it does, but perhaps not as much as you might think. Plus there are 3 seating positions back there, meaning that the CLS is now a 5-seater, which means it's a little bit more practical. Now up front, we've got a cabin design that was borrowed almost wholesale from the Mercedes S-Class, and this is a good looking car, especially as equipped. We've got nice leathers, really good wood texture here, these metal vents, the whole thing looks fantastic. And in front of me, we've got the new dual screen command infotainment system that debuted on the S-Class as well. It's not the MBUX system that's going to be on the CLA, but it's a solid loadout of technology here. It's really easy to interact with, and it borrows most of the features that we saw on the S-Class, including one of my favorite features, the energizing comfort system. That's a set of preset sort of mood-based drive modes that affect the ambient lighting, the climate control system, the heated seats, even things like the scent coming through the vent. There's some perfume in the glove box here that kind of comes through in certain modes to give you a mood of relaxation or invigoration. It's kind of cool. There's a lot of tech here. Mercedes' interface does have its quirks, so you're going to want to spend some time in a parking lot figuring out where everything is before you crash into somebody trying to access Android Auto. Fortunately, we've already done that for you in a separate video that you can check out on our site. Other noteworthy tech includes a suite of driver aid features inherited also from the S-Class. And that's going to include an adaptive cruise control system that works in stop and go traffic, but also recognizes traffic signs. So if you set your cruise control in a 70-mile-per-hour zone, but pass into a 50-mile-per-hour zone, it can automatically lower your cruising speed so you don't get a ticket. We've also got a really good lane-keeping steering assist system. It's a hands-on setup, but it does a good job of helping to keep the car centered in its lane without feeling like you're constantly struggling for control of the wheel against a computer. Benz is really good at that sort of effortless feel kind of stuff. We've also got more cameras than you know what to do with aid in parking, but also power an automatic parallel parking assist system. We're not going to test it today, but trust me, it works really well. Of course, one of the most noteworthy pieces of technology isn't something you can see from here because it's in the engine bay. It's going to be the first consumer application of Mercedes-Benz's 48-volt mild hybrid system. It makes a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine that makes 362 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, with an electric motor that adds a paltry 21 horsepower, but also a really healthy 184 pound-feet of torque. Now it's a mild hybrid, so this car never operates completely under electric power, but that e-motor is able to add bursts of torque during strong acceleration to really aid in the feeling of speed. But mostly, it just sort of hangs in the background, aiding the inline 6-cylinder engine and just making it feel more like a big, beefy V8. It sort of fills in those gaps where the turbo might be lagging on acceleration or between shifts, and just makes this whole car feel really smooth. And the best way to describe it is purposeful. It has a very purposeful acceleration. The 48-volt system also powers the auto stop start system, which prevents idling when you're at a traffic light. And it starts the engine back up so quickly, so smoothly, that you probably won't even notice that it's happening. It just seems like this car idles quietly. In its most economical mode, the Eco setting, it also shuts the engine down while you're coasting, so you save a little bit of fuel there. And it's happened a couple of times while we're driving around today, and I didn't even notice it. It's so smooth. Now, helping the rest of the performance feel as smooth as that powertrain is our optional air body control suspension. It has 3 settings tied to 3 different drive modes: Sport, Sport Plus, and Comfort, that are going to allow you to somewhat adjust the character of the way that this vehicle handles bumps and corners. Now overall, the CLS feels like a baby S-Class, which from where I'm sitting, it kind of is, given the level of technology that it inherits from that car, as well as the luxurious appointment. But it's so much more, and as a first showing of Mercedes' mild hybrid technology, it is a promising one. However, a car that inherits this much S-Class DNA's gotta come with a big S-Class price tag, right? The 2019 Mercedes-Benz CLS 450 starts at, well, the price hasn't been announced just yet, but based on the previous generation, I'm expecting it to start somewhere between $75,000 and $80,000. What I do know is that we've got like $25,000 worth of options on this bad boy, meaning that as tested, we're looking at like a $100,000 car. Now there's no way around it, that's a lot of money, but considering it inherits all of its cabin technology and luxurious amenities from one of the best luxury cars in the world, Mercedes' own S-Class, and improves on the formula with a mild hybrid system that is just super smooth, I think it's not a totally unreasonable price.